What I wound up writing that night became the opening pages of my first novel, which is a book called Speak. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know, who is this girl? I didn't know who she was. I didn't know why she was crying, whatever. But there was this story that was interesting me. My imagination was like way ahead of me. So I started to get up every morning early and write. It took me about a year, 7 drafts. And I wound up like having written a book. And so I sent it out to see if anybody would publish it. The first people I sent it to turned it down. That was a big mistake. They thought it wasn't any good. Boy, were they dumb. I laminated that rejection letter, and if I'm having a really bad day, I pull it out and I laugh. I am a bitter middle-aged woman, you know, and you have to laugh at people when they do you wrong. But the second publisher I sent it to liked it. They said, we're going to turn it into a book. It was very exciting. It's going to be my first novel. They didn't give me very much money, but it was okay. It was going to be a book. It's going to be my first novel. And then the editor says to me, just as they're getting ready to publish, they said, now look, we don't want you to get your hopes up about this. We're going to print 3,000 copies of this book, and it'll take 3 years to sell all 3,000 copies. And I was like, why are we doing this then? They said, well, you know, teenagers don't read, even though they were publishing it as a YA book, a young adult teen book. I said, there's a lot of teenagers in America. No, they said, this is back in 1999. Teenagers don't like to read, so why are we publishing this book? They said, English teachers and librarians will read anything. So we figured 3,000 of them will read this book in the next 3 days, or 3 years, and then that'll be great. So the book was published, and it blew up. It won a bunch of awards, they put stickers on it. Long story short, here we are 15 years later, 2 million copies of the book have sold. They made it into a movie with Kristen Stewart, who was then 13. It was one of her better movies, if I may say so myself. I got to be in the movie. I got to play a lunch lady in the movie. Yes, I have so much more respect for lunch ladies now than I used to. Be nice to them. That's a hard job. It's very hot behind those things. So it wound up completely changing my life. Because Speak is now taught in high schools all over the country. I think they've translated it into like 27 or 28 different languages. And it really started my career. Now, what does this have to do with pornography, you ask? I'm glad you asked. Speak is a story of a girl who, when the book opens, you don't know what's going on, but she's starting 9th grade and she's being bullied. You don't know why. She doesn't tell you. And it's very clear as the book progresses, something bad has happened, and she's wicked depressed. And nobody knows what happens, but you know, like everyone's going, oh, it's a phase. When grown-ups say that a teenager's going through a phase, what that really means is that the grown-up has no clue what's going on. Especially parents will do this, oh, it's just a phase. Often they're scared and they don't know how to reach out and communicate, so they're going to pretend, well, maybe it's just a phase and I don't have to deal with it. And that's what everybody's doing for this girl. What I borrowed from my life is that this girl is a victim of sexual assault, although the circumstances of her rape was different than mine. And the emotional truth I borrowed is that I borrowed from what it felt like to have a really bad thing happen to you and not tell anybody.